Hello, everyone, and welcome to another story time with Mr. Walker today. Today, we're going to be looking at The Butter Battle Book by Dr. Seuss. This is one of Dr. Seuss's lesser known books, I would say, but it's actually one of the favorite ones that I've got. I've been looking over a lot of these books that I've never really heard of before, and this one really stood out to me. So, have a look and see. Hopefully, I can make it through. As you can tell by the title, it's going to be maybe a little more challenging on the mouth, but we'll see. So, sit back, listen, and enjoy. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. For a while he stood silent. Then finally he said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall we are Yooks. On the far other side of this wall live the Zooks." Then my grandfather said, "It's high time that you knew of the terribly horrible thing that Zooks do. In every Zook house and in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down. But we Yooks, as you know, when we breakfast or sup, spread our bread, Grandpa said, with the butter side up. That's the right honest way," Grandpa gritted his teeth, "so you can't trust a Zook who spreads bread underneath. Every Zook must be watched, he has kinks in his soul. That's why as a youth I made watching my goal. Watching Zooks for the Zook watching border patrol. In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, could give him a twitch with my tough-tufted, prickly snickberry switch. For a while that worked fine. All the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook by the name of Van Itch snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief Eucharoo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled. He said, "You're not to blame, and those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress you right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build me some sort of triple sling jigger. With my triple sling jigger, I felt much bigger. I marched to the wall with great vim and great vigor, right up to Van Itch with my hand on the trigger. "I'll have no more nonsense," I said with a frown, "from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Van Itch looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled at his head, looking frightfully mean. "You may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on a trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock snatch'em, will fling 'em right back just as quick as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll have no more gup from you Yooks who eat bread with the butter side up." "I have failed, sir," I sobbed as I made my report to the chief Eucharoo in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. "You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed. That was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some newfangled kind of a gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping whiz-zinger one. My bright boys are thinking they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick and we'll send you right back." They thought up a great one. They certainly did. They thought up a gun called the Kickapoo Kid, which they loaded with powerful Pooadoo powder, and ants' eggs and bees' legs, and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Then Daniel, the Kickapoo Spaniel, and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high, while everyone cheered and their cheers filled the sky. "Fight, fight for the butter side up, do or die." Well, we didn't do. We didn't quite die. We sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Van Itch was there too, and he said, the old pig, "The boys in my back room invented this rig, called the 8-nozzled elephant-toted boom blitz. It shoots high explosive sour cherry stone pits, and will put your dumb Kickapoo kid on the fritz." Poor Daniel and I were scared out of our wits. Once more by Van Itch I was bested and beat. Once again I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged, and my spirits were low as I thought that they ever could go, when I heard a boom-bah and a diddly-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief Eucharoo had sent them to meet me, along with the right set-up song-girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, believe in thy butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. "My boy," smiled the chief Eucharoo, "we've just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready. Get in it. The big war is coming. We're going to begin it. And what's more, this time you are certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over that wall and clobber those butter-down Zooks one and all." Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called the Utterly Sputter, and I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and steered toward the land of the upside-down butter. This machine was so modern, so frightfully new, no one knew quite exactly just what it would do. But it had several faucets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the Zooks as I flew, and gum up that upside-down butter they chew. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle us Zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." Van Itch had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine. And I'm here to say that if Ukes can goo Zooks, you'd better forget it, 'cause Zooks can goo Ukes." I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all the girls of the Butter-Up Band. The chief drum majorette, Ms. Yuki Ann Sue, said that was a pretty sour flight that you flew. The chief Eucharoo has been looking for you. I raced to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fears," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My bright backroom boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It is filled with mysterious moo-lacka-moo, and can blow all those Zooks clear to Salamagoo. They've invented the Bitsy Big Boy Boomeroo. You just run to the wall like a nice little man, drop this bomb on the Zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all Ukes to stay safe underground while the Bitsy Big Boo Boomeroo is around." As I raced for that wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last Uke in our land was obeying our chief Eucharoo's grim command. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down a hole for their country and right side up butter. That's when grandfather found me. He grabbed me, he said, "You should be down that hole, and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better somehow. You will see me make history right here and right now." Grandpa leapt up that wall with a lopulous leap, and he cleared his hoarse throat with a bopulous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." And at that very instant we heard a clup-clup of feet on the wall, and old Van Itch clupped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another big boy Boomeroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up you to small smithereens." "Grandpa," I shouted, "be careful, oh gee, who's going to drop it? Will you, or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. "We'll see. We will see." And there's the end. It's kind of a neat ending because you don't know, are they going to drop that big Boomeroo, or will they come to some kind of agreement? We're not sure. So that has been the Butter Battle book, right? I got it right here by Dr. Seuss. I'd encourage you, if you can, to find some different Dr. Seuss stories, and because he's got some really interesting and cool stories. So thanks for coming for Storytime with Mr. Walker, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.